So continuing on my story, and if you're picking this video up at this point, please know there is a part 1 to this. And you really need to hear that side of the story before you continue. Okay, so here I am in total overwhelm. I'm absolutely, almost shaking from head to foot with so much adrenaline pumping through my system. And I actually suffer from a lack of adrenaline. So again, what little adrenaline I had was really bouncing. My emotions were completely out of control. I was a mess. You ever been there? Anyway, I was a mess. And luckily for me, Yvonne came up. And Yvonne is a friend of mine, for those of you who don't know. But anyway, Yvonne came and she took one look at me. She said, "What on earth's wrong?" And so I told her the story. And she's very good at quoting me at my own stuff, I have to say that. So she said, "Sal, you're one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. How can you think that you are stupid?" And I said, "Because I can't get this stuff. I'm not getting it fast enough. Other people are getting it and I'm not. And it's what I need. You see, I wanted this information so badly. I really need this information and I'm not getting it." And I was getting really upset again. And she said, "Sal, everything I know about your life is you've always done what you've done because you never quit. And you always told me, your speed is the right speed and just do it at your own speed. You always told that to me." And I said, "Yeah, I know. But I didn't want to be stupid." And I felt it. And so she gave me a big hug, which made me feel a whole lot better. And after she'd gone, I made a list of what I thought was important in my life right then. And I have to admit, the list consisted of, you need to let go. And you need to give your brain a rest. But I didn't want to, that obsessive part of me wanted to go back there and keep trying to fix what was wrong. And I'm going, no, you need to rest. And that was very, very difficult. Very difficult for me. But I did. I actually managed to get that much control, and I got some rest. I woke up the next morning. I was totally inspired. Here I go again. Yeah, boom. Let me see what the next thing is I need to do. And I started, and guess what? I did something wrong again. I really did. I did something wrong, and I couldn't fix it. And of course, that started the whole tape playing again, that I was slow and stupid and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Terrible feeling. Truly terrible. And then, very luckily, I asked myself a very smart question. And that was, if somebody else was writing to you about the story, Sal, what would you suggest? And I said, well, I'd suggest that maybe getting somebody who's smarter than you to help you fix the problem might be a very good idea, because obviously it's out of your league. And I like to call it need a nerd. I needed a nerd to help me. So I tried to think, who did I know that might be willing to help me? And for those of you who know Matthew, I actually sent an email off to Matthew and said, "Matthew, I've just done something and I don't know what I've done, but for some reason this doesn't happen anymore and it should." And bless his heart, You know, I've always believed that asking for help is a sign of strength, not one of weakness, right? You've heard me say that many times. And bless his heart, he wrote back to me and said, you know, the chances are this is what's happening, so close everything down, only bring up one browser, and I recommend you use a different browser from the one you normally use, because apparently that helps clear things up as well. And do this, this, and this. So I went, okay, fine. So I did that, and guess what? It didn't work the first time, so then I thought, well, what would I think next? He probably will tell me just to reboot and try again. And so I did. And again, I went in with the other browser, and eventually I did manage to get at least it working far enough that I can go back to it later and do what I wanted to do. I decided I'd messed it up enough for one day. I wasn't going to do any more. But by then I was feeling a whole lot smarter. So I obviously wrote a very nice thank you letter and said, you know, thank you very much for your help, and I appreciate it. But it happens to an awful lot of people, and it just depends what triggers you. And you need to know that. So in the next part, I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing to heal myself, because that's a really important part of this.